On Christmas morning, I found my 6-year-old granddaughter Lily hiding in the bathroom with a Santa hat pulled down over her ears. When I lifted it, her beautiful blonde curls were completely gone, shaved down to cuts and razor burn that made her scalp look like raw meat. "Mommy said I look like a boy now," she whispered, her little hands trembling. "She said boys don't cry, so I have to stop being dramatic." My daughter-in-law Vanessa was in the living room pouring mimosas, laughing about Lily's bold new look with the guests. But what Vanessa didn't know was that I'd been an elementary school principal for 35 years. I'd seen this pattern before, and I knew exactly what it meant. My name is Margaret Sullivan. I'm 64 years old, and I never thought I'd spend Christmas morning documenting evidence of child abuse. But that's exactly what I was about to do. It started like any other Christmas. My son Derek and his wife Vanessa were hosting at their house in Maplewood, a beautiful colonial with a wraparound porch and one of those picture-perfect front yards. The kind of house that screams, "Happy family lives here." I arrived at 9 in the morning with homemade cinnamon rolls, Lily's favorite. We had a tradition. Every Christmas morning, she'd run to the door in her pajamas, blonde braids flying, shouting, "Grandma Margaret!" But when Derek opened the door, something was wrong. His smile didn't reach his eyes. His jaw was tight. When I hugged him, his body felt like stone, rigid, tense, barely breathing. "Where's my girl?" I asked. "She's around," Derek said, not meeting my eyes. "Vanessa's in the kitchen." I found Vanessa at the island, perfectly styled as always. Diamond earrings catching the light as she turned to greet me. "Margaret, Merry Christmas!" She kissed my cheek with practiced warmth. "How is the drive?" "Fine. Where's Lily?" Vanessa's smile tightened. "Oh, she's being shy this morning. You know how 6-year-olds can be, dramatic about everything." Dramatic. That word landed like a slap. I checked Lily's bedroom first. Empty. Her bed was made with military precision, not normal for a 6-year-old's room on Christmas morning. Then I heard it. A small, muffled sob coming from the bathroom. "Lily? Sweetheart, it's Grandma." Silence. Then, so quietly, "Okay." I found her sitting on the closed toilet lid, wearing a bright red Santa hat pulled down almost to her eyebrows. Her little body was curled into itself, arms wrapped around her knees. "Why are you hiding in here?" She looked up with enormous blue eyes, red-rimmed and glassy. "I don't want anyone to see me." "Why don't you want anyone to see you?" She pulled the hat down even further. "Because I'm ugly now." My stomach dropped. "Can I see what you're talking about?" Her hand shot up, gripping the hat. "No, Mommy said I have to keep it on." The cold feeling in my chest turned to ice. "Lily, Grandma would never laugh at you. Will you let me see? Just me." Slowly, so slowly, she released her grip. I lifted the hat carefully, and what I saw made bile rise in my throat. Her beautiful blonde hair was gone. Completely gone. This wasn't a haircut. This was a full shave done with an electric razor. Her scalp was visible, pale and vulnerable, with angry red stripes where the razor had been pressed too hard. Small cuts dotted her head. The razor burn was worst around her temples and behind her ears, inflamed, swollen. "Oh, Lily." "I look like a boy," she said in that tiny, broken voice. "Mommy said so. She said boys don't cry, so I have to stop crying all the time." My hands were shaking. "Who did this to you, sweetheart?" "Mommy, last night after dinner." She said it was time for God's discipline. God's discipline. I'd been a school principal for 35 years. I'd seen this pattern before, the religious justification, the systematic humiliation, the escalating punishments. "Lily, I need to take some pictures of your head, just so Grandma can remember what happened, okay?" "Are you going to tell Mommy?" Panic spiked her voice. "She said if I told anyone next time she'd—" She stopped, eyes wide with terror. Next time she'd what? Her hands flew to her face. I can't say. She said terrible things happen to girls who tell. I photographed her head from multiple angles. The camera captured everything. The razor burn, the cuts, the uneven patches. Evidence. Lily, what your mommy did was wrong. This is not your fault. She shook her head, tears streaming. But I was bad. I spilled my juice at dinner. Mommy said clumsy girls don't deserve pretty hair. Spilled juice. I pulled her into my arms, feeling her tiny body shake with silent sobs. The kind of silent crying that comes from knowing noise brings more punishment. Grandma is going to fix this, I promise. But I need you to be brave. Stay close to me today, okay? Don't go anywhere alone with Mommy. She nodded against my shoulder. We walked back to the living room together. Derek was standing by the fireplace. When he saw us, something flickered in his eyes. He knew. My son knew what his wife had done, and he'd said nothing. Vanessa emerged from the kitchen carrying mimosas, her smile bright. Oh, good. You found her. Lily, sweetheart, why don't you take off that silly hat now? Lily's hand clenched around mine so hard it hurt. Actually, I think she looks adorable in it, I said firmly. Let her keep it on. Vanessa's smile didn't waver, but her eyes went cold. Margaret, I really think... I insist. For a moment, we stared at each other. A silent battle of wills. Vanessa blinked first. As soon as they left the room, I pulled out my phone and created a new folder. Evidence, December 25th. I had 35 years of experience dealing with abusive parents. I knew exactly what was about to happen next. But I was about to show him. The rest of Christmas morning passed in forced normalcy that felt like walking through a nightmare wearing a smile mask. Vanessa played the perfect hostess, but I'd spent 35 years reading people. Every time she looked at Lily, her jaw tightened. Every time Lily leaned closer to me, Vanessa's fingers curled into fists. Around 11, Lily fell asleep on my lap, exhausted. Derek appeared beside me. Mom, can we talk? Privately? Vanessa's in the shower. We have maybe 15 minutes. I carefully slid out from under Lily and followed him to his office. He closed the door and started crying. Real, body-shaking sobs. I should have stopped it months ago. God, Mom, what kind of father lets this happen? How long has this been going on? He pulled out his phone with shaking hands. The haircutting? 4 months. But the other stuff started a year ago, right after Vanessa joined this online group. He showed me a website, Raising Righteous Kids. Vanessa runs it. 8,500 followers. I scrolled through what I was seeing, feeling my blood turn to ice. The blog header showed Vanessa and Lily in white linen, standing in a sunlit meadow. The tagline, Biblical Discipline for Strong-Willed Children, Breaking Rebellion, Building Character. The first post described cutting 2 inches off Lily's hair for defiant behavior. Before and after photos showed a transformation from happy child to hollow-eyed compliance. Comments praised her. Finally, someone willing to teach real discipline. I scrolled further. More posts. More photos. More systematic torture disguised as biblical parenting. The most recent post was titled, Sometimes Love Requires Boldness, a Christmas Lesson. It described shaving Lily's head completely as a final consequence for continued defiance. 3 photos showed the progression. The caption, This was the hardest discipline I've ever had to administer. Already I see submission in her eyes that wasn't there before. 247 comments. I scrolled through them, sickening with each one. You're a warrior mom. I shaved my daughter's head last year and she's been perfectly obedient ever since. One comment. I'm doing this with my son on New Year's. Thank you for giving me the courage. You've seen all this? I asked Derek. I've been documenting it for 3 months. He opened his desk drawer and pulled out a folder bulging with papers. Screenshots of every blog post, photos, journal tracking the escalation, audio recordings of Vanessa during punishments. He spread evidence across his desk. Photos of Lily with progressively shorter hair, transcripts, blog comments encouraging harsher punishments. Why didn't you stop it? Derek's face crumpled. I tried. The first time I said we needed counseling. Vanessa said if I didn't support her, she'd file for divorce and claim I was the abusive one. She showed me this network of women who'd done exactly that. He pulled up a Facebook group. 47 mothers. The Righteous Mothers Circle. They share discipline techniques and legal strategies for dealing with interfering family members. One post from Vanessa, 3 weeks ago. My MIL is visiting for Christmas. She's going to freak when she sees what I did to Lily. Any advice? Responses chilled me. File an elder abuse report preemptively. Make him choose between you and his mother. Document everything she does that could look like parental alienation. This was bigger than one family. This was systematic. Has Vanessa ever physically hurt Lily beyond the haircutting? He hesitated, then pulled up photos. Lily's arm bruised in finger patterns, scratches on her back, a burn mark on her hand. The burn was from holding her hand near the stove to teach natural consequences. The scratches from dragging her out of the bathtub. Derek, this is child abuse. You know that, right? I know, Mom. But every time I think about calling police, I remember those women who destroyed their husbands. Vanessa has lawyers who specialize in this. The church supports her. Pastor Mike told me I should be grateful for such a godly wife. I thought about all the mandatory reporter trainings, all the children I'd helped rescue. And now one of those children was my granddaughter. Derek, listen carefully. You're going to follow my lead. I've dealt with situations like this dozens of times. I know exactly what we need to do. His face hardened. What do we do? First, transfer all this to a secure cloud. Second, I'm making calls to people who can help. Third, Lily stays with me tonight. Vanessa doesn't get a vote. A knock. Vanessa's voice. Derek? Margaret? What are you doing? We'd become co-conspirators, partners in protecting a child from her own mother. Coming! Derek called out. When we opened the door, Vanessa was standing there with crossed arms and suspicious eyes. I brushed past her to where Lily had woken up, reaching for me. Grandma. Vanessa's voice carried warning. Lily, you're too old to sit on Grandma's lap like a baby. She's fine, I said firmly. Margaret, I appreciate your help, but we're the parents. And I'm the grandmother. Right now, my granddaughter needs comfort. The temperature dropped 20 degrees. Derek cleared his throat. Actually, Mom, why don't you take Lily to your place tonight? Give Vanessa and me time to relax. Brilliant. Face-saving excuse wrapped around the real goal. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. That's really not... I think it's a great idea, I said. How does that sound, sweetheart? Lily's grip tightened. Can I, Mommy? Please? The word please was so desperate that even Vanessa had to hear it. Fine, but just tonight. We have church service at 10 tomorrow. The way she said, family church service, made the hair on my neck stand up. Getting Lily out felt like a prison break in slow motion. Vanessa packed the overnight bag herself, controlling even that detail. Before we left, she knelt to Lily's level, hands on her shoulders. Be good for Grandma. Remember what we talked about. Remember what happens to girls who tell stories. Lily nodded, terrified. And Lily? Keep your hat on, all night. Actually, I said, I've already seen it. Vanessa's head snapped up. For 1 second, her mask slipped. Pure rage flashed across her face. Then it slammed back. I hope you understand, Margaret. Sometimes discipline requires difficult choices. No, I never shaved my child's head as punishment. Deafening silence. Derek stepped between us. Okay, let's get you on the road. Text me when you get home. The 40-minute drive was the longest of my life. Lily sat in silence, staring out the window. When I said she could take the hat off, her hands reached up slowly, then pulled it away. Am I still pretty without my hair? I swallowed hard. You are beautiful, Lily. Your hair doesn't make you pretty. Your kindness does. Your brave heart does. Mommy says God made me pretty so I could learn to be humble. She says pretty girls become vain and sinful. Your mommy is wrong about a lot of things, sweetheart. At my house, I made real hot chocolate. While Lily drank it, I went to my office and made 3 calls. First, Linda Hartwell, my former superintendent. Linda, I need the name of a family court judge who handles child welfare and isn't afraid to act fast. This is about your granddaughter, isn't it? I saw Vanessa's blog 3 months ago. Another principal sent it asking if we should report it. She shaved Lily's head last night, as punishment for spilling juice. Jesus Christ. Judge Sarah Brennan, Family Court, Riverside County. I'll call her tonight. Second, Patricia Chen, child psychologist. Patricia, I need you to evaluate my granddaughter tomorrow morning. I'll open the office at 8. Third, Derek. Tomorrow morning, get copies of all Lily's medical records. Take them to Dr. Chen at 8. Vanessa's going to lose her mind. Vanessa is going to lose a lot more than that. After I hung up, I found Lily asleep at the table. I carried her to my guest bedroom and tucked her in. She stirred. Will you stay until I fall asleep? As long as you need me to. Next morning, text from Linda. Judge Brennan will see you Monday at 9 a.m. She's reviewing the blog tonight. Derek. Got the records. This is really happening, isn't it? Yes, I texted back. At 7, Lily woke screaming from a nightmare. She was cutting my eyelashes. She said next time it would be my eyelashes if I told anyone. At 7:45, we met Derek at Dr. Chen's office. He looked like he hadn't slept. When he saw Lily, his face crumpled. Hey, baby girl, how are you? Scared. Are you mad at me? Mad at you? He pulled her into a fierce hug. Lily, none of this is your fault, not one single bit. You are brave and amazing, and I'm so sorry I didn't protect you sooner. My phone buzzed. Where is my daughter? Bring her home now. Derek saw it. Don't answer. Let's get through this evaluation first. Dr. Chen emerged 90 minutes later, grim-faced. What I'm about to tell you is my professional opinion based on 30 years of practice. Lily is exhibiting clear signs of complex trauma, post-traumatic stress, hypervigilance, learned helplessness. She blames herself. She's internalized her mother's messaging about her worthlessness. She looked at me. Margaret, if you hadn't intervened, this child would have been in serious danger. The pattern I'm seeing accelerates, not de-escalates. How bad? 9 out of 10 for abuse severity. The only reason it's not 10 is no sexual abuse. Yet. But the psychological torture, systematic degradation, religious manipulation, physical punishments, this is severe child abuse. And there's something else. Based on what Lily told me about her mother's special friends, I think there are other children. My phone buzzed. Vanessa, all caps. I know you're poisoning her. This is parental alienation. My lawyer will hear about this. Patricia photographed it. Evidence of consciousness of guilt. Classic abuser behavior. Derek stood. I need to get more of Lily's things. You can't, not alone. Vanessa could claim theft. You need police presence or court order. Then what? Emergency custody Monday morning. Judge Brennan will see everything. I'm confident she'll grant temporary custody to Margaret pending investigation. My phone rang. Vanessa. I didn't answer. Again. Text from unknown number. This is Pastor Mike. Come to the church. Let's discuss this as a family before involving outsiders. Patricia saw it. That's an attempt to isolate you from legal protection. Do not go. Pastor Mike has been enabling this through religious justification. Lily told me, Pastor Mike says mommy's discipline is godly. I thought about the Facebook group, 47 mothers, 8,000 blog followers. This wasn't just about saving Lily. This was about exposing a network. Voicemail from Vanessa. Derek, if Lily is not home by noon, I'm filing for kidnapping. I'm filing for emergency custody, and I'm filing a restraining order against your mother for elder abuse. Bring my daughter home. Patricia. She's bluffing about most of that, but the kidnapping threat is real. You need to report to police today that you have reasonable suspicion of abuse and are protecting the child. And if they don't believe me? They will. She held up her evaluation. Because I'm submitting this to CPS today marked urgent. That triggers mandatory investigation within 24 hours. Text from Linda. Judge Brennan just finished reviewing the blog. She's furious. She wants to know if there are other children. Are there? I looked at Derek. He pulled up the Facebook screenshots. 47 mothers, each with at least one daughter, some with multiple children, all sharing discipline techniques. Yes, I texted back. At least 47, maybe more. Linda. Judge Brennan is convening emergency weekend session. She's involving the FBI. Margaret, you just opened a massive case. Where are you watching from? And what's a discipline moment from your childhood that you now realize was actually abuse? Share below. Your story might help someone recognize the pattern. By Sunday afternoon, FBI agents sat at my dining table photographing evidence. Agent Michelle Torres and Agent James Richardson reviewed everything methodically. Ms. Sullivan, Torres said, scrolling through the Facebook group, this goes far beyond single-case abuse. This is wire fraud, interstate commerce violations, conspiracy to commit child endangerment, potentially human trafficking if children were transported for these discipline meetings. Derek made a strangled sound. I married a monster. Someone likely did this to her as a child, Richardson said. That doesn't excuse it, but it's context. These patterns are generational. She's teaching hundreds of mothers to do it to their children. He pulled up Vanessa's blog. We've been tracking her for 6 weeks. Anonymous tip about the online courses. We sent an undercover agent. $500 for 12 video modules. A video began playing. Vanessa's voice. Module 8. Public Correction Techniques. Public humiliation is one of the most effective tools we have. She filmed some with Lily, Derek said quietly. I found the files 3 weeks ago. We'll need those files. Derek pulled out his phone. I set up cloud backup on her computer. Everything uploads automatically, giving you access now. My phone buzzed constantly with Vanessa's texts escalating from angry to threatening to bizarrely sweet to threatening again. The last? My lawyer says what you're doing is kidnapping. I have documentation of your mental decline, early dementia. The family's been worried for months. Classic abuser tactic, Richardson said. When they lose control of the victim, they attack the credibility of the protector. Torres's phone rang. She listened, face going pale. When? How many? She looked at me. We have a problem. Speaker. Detective Lisa Wu, Maplewood PD. I'm at the Sullivan residence responding to a disturbance. Vanessa Sullivan claims her mother-in-law kidnapped her daughter. She's demanding an Amber Alert. My heart stopped. Torres leaned forward. Detective Wu, FBI Special Agent Michelle Torres. We're investigating Ms. Sullivan for wire fraud and child endangerment as part of multi-state operation. The child is safe with her grandmother, who has reasonable suspicion of abuse. Judge Brennan in Riverside County is issuing emergency protective orders. FBI? I need documentation. Vanessa's very convincing. Crying, showing texts where she's begging. She has her pastor backing her story. Sending you the warrant now. Judge Brennan signed it 20 minutes ago. Wire fraud, child endangerment, conspiracy. Long pause. Received. I'm placing her under arrest. Through the phone. What? You can't. I'm the victim. She stole my daughter. Pastor Mike, tell them. Pastor Mike's voice. Detective, I've known Vanessa 3 years. She's devoted. This appears to be a misunderstanding. Pastor, I've received a federal warrant. Step back. Vanessa screamed. You're all going to regret this. I have friends. I have lawyers. I have a community. The phone went dead. Torres looked at me. She just threatened witness intimidation on a recorded line. Another charge. Derek walked to the window, shoulders shaking. I went to him. Deep, wrenching sobs. I should have known sooner. You did stop it. You documented everything. You're here now. That's what matters. Richardson. Mr. Sullivan, difficult questions. Did you ever participate in or witness discipline sessions? I saw some early on, before I understood. Did you try to stop them? Yes. First time I said it was too far. She said I was being soft, that if I didn't support her, our marriage was over. And after? She started doing it when I wasn't home. Or locked the door. I could hear Lily crying, but Vanessa said she was being dramatic. He choked. I believed her because it was easier than believing my wife was torturing our daughter. When did you stop believing? 3 months ago. Came home early, heard Lily screaming, really screaming. I found Vanessa timing her kneeling on raw rice. 15 minutes. Lily's knees were bleeding. That's when I started documenting. That's when I realized this was abuse. Torres typed rapidly. Mr. Sullivan, that documentation is crucial. I have audio recordings. Past 2 months. Set up my phone to record whenever I left Lily alone with Vanessa. How much? Maybe 40 hours. Richardson whistled. More than enough for conviction. Derek pulled up a file, hands shaking. You should hear this. From 2 weeks ago, it's the worst. He hit play. Vanessa's voice, cold. Lily, strong-willed children need strong correction. Are you going to obey or do I need the scissors again? Small, terrified. Please, Mommy, I'll be good. Too late. Sit down. No, please, not my hair. Chair scraping, Lily screaming, electric clippers buzzing. Stop crying. Boys don't cry. Is that what you want to be? Girls are supposed to be sweet and obedient. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shh. Almost over. There. Much better. Now you look appropriate for a disobedient child. Torres stopped it. Fury in her eyes. Mr. Sullivan, why didn't you stop this? You were in the house. I was in the garage. I couldn't go in. She'd know I was recording. She'd delete everything. I'd lose all evidence. No way to prove what she was doing. So you sacrificed immediate safety for evidence? Yes. And I'll hate myself forever. But at least now we can stop her. Not just for Lily, for all those other children. Richardson's expression softened. You made an impossible choice. The only choice that could actually end this. If you'd intervened without evidence, she'd have isolated Lily completely. You'd have lost custody, and abuse would have continued where you couldn't see it. Call from Linda. Emergency protective order granted. Vanessa prohibited from any contact. Derek has temporary full custody. Your designated primary caregiver. Relief flooded through me. There's more. FBI identified 32 other children in immediate danger based on Facebook posts. Executing simultaneous warrants across 6 states. 32 children. That's just immediate identification. Agent Torres believes actual number could be hundreds. The State Education Board wants to work with you on new mandatory reporting protocols. They're calling it Lily's Law. Would require teachers, doctors, clergy to report patterns of systematic humiliation even without physical injury. Lily's Law, named after my granddaughter. I'll do whatever you need. Torres closed her laptop. This case will be high profile. Media will approach you. Vanessa's supporters, thousands of them, will come after you online. I don't care, Derek said flatly. You should. These people are organized, ideologically driven. They genuinely believe they're doing God's work. My phone buzzed with a Facebook notification. A post from Righteous Mothers United. 16,000 followers. A photo of me, Derek, and Lily from last Christmas. Someone had circled Lily in red. This child was stolen from her loving mother by a grandmother with dementia. Pray for Vanessa Sullivan. Share to spread awareness. Shared 4,000 times in an hour. Comments. This is why we need to protect traditional families. The government is coming for our children. Derek went pale. They're weaponizing this. They have to, Richardson said. If Vanessa goes down, it exposes all of them. They're fighting for survival. My phone started ringing. Unknown numbers. Then Derek's phone. Then the landline. Torres made a call. I need immediate protection for witnesses at... She gave my address. Potential harassment. Possibly threats. How fast? By Monday morning, news vans parked on my street. I woke at 5:30 to 3 reporters on my lawn. A police cruiser sat at the curb, but that hadn't stopped media. Lily was still asleep, exhausted from nightmares. I'd lain with her until 2, her hand clutching my nightgown. My phone had 217 unread messages, death threats, support messages, media requests, and one that made my hand shake. I'm one of the mothers from the group. I need help. I don't know how to stop what I've been doing. Please. I forwarded it to Torres. This woman needs help, not arrest. Response. Already setting up intervention programs. Forward any others. By 7, I'd forwarded 8 more. At 8:45, Derek drove me to the courthouse. He looked worse. Hollowed eyes, gray skin, trembling hands. How's Lily? Nightmares, but she ate breakfast. Progress. The courthouse was surrounded by protesters. One side, protect parental rights. Biblical discipline is not abuse, free Vanessa. Other side, justice for Lily. Child abuse is not religion, 32. Children saved. Police formed barriers. As we pulled up, cameras swarmed, microphones thrust at windows, voices yelling, Ms. Sullivan, do you regret destroying your son's marriage? Is it true Lily's been brainwashed? Derek gripped the wheel, knuckles white. Don't, I said quietly. Don't give them anything. Underground parking, private elevator. Judge Brennan was waiting. Mid-50s, steel gray hair, sharp eyes, expression that said she'd heard every excuse. Ms. Sullivan, Mr. Sullivan, sit. She pulled out a thick file. I've spent 48 hours reviewing evidence, the blog, recordings. Dr. Chen's evaluation, FBI's findings. I'm going to be clear. What Vanessa Sullivan did is the most systematic abuse I've seen in 23 years. Your Honor, Derek started. She held up a hand. Mr. Sullivan, you witnessed abuse and failed to report. Prioritized evidence over intervention. Normally I'd question whether you should retain custody at all. Derek's face crumbled. However, Agent Torres explained your reasoning. While I don't condone it, I understand the impossible position. What matters is, you acted decisively with enough evidence to ensure she couldn't manipulate the system. That took courage. Misguided, delayed courage, but courage. She turned to me. Ms. Sullivan, 35 years as elementary principal? Yes, Your Honor. How many abuse cases? 43 official CPS reports, double that in interventions before reaching reporting threshold. Court testimony? 16 times. She nodded. Then you understand how this works, and you understand we need systemic change to prevent this from happening to other children. Good, because I'm appointing you as special advisor to the State Child Welfare Board, effective immediately. I blinked. I'm sorry, what? The board is developing new protocols for identifying systematic psychological abuse. You have expertise, credibility, and you're now the public face of this issue whether you wanted to be. We might as well use that. Your Honor, I'm 64, retired. I have a traumatized granddaughter. Who needs you to ensure no other child goes through what she did? This is a 3-month appointment. You'll work with legislators to draft Lily's law, mandatory reporting for patterns of humiliation, train professionals on warning signs, and you'll be the grandmother who said, "Not my child." She slid a document across. "Sign it." I looked at Derek. He nodded. I signed. She pulled out another folder. FBI identified 47 mothers in the Facebook group, 12 in this state. 4 have contacted authorities asking for help. 5 are lawyering up. 3 disappeared, likely fled with children. Amber Alerts active, FBI tracking them. But here's what concerns me. She spread Facebook posts. Look at engagement numbers. Vanessa's blog, 8,500 followers. Facebook group, 47 active members. But these posts, shared by thousands with comments like, "Finally, real parenting advice." She looked at me. We're not dealing with 47 abusers. We're dealing with a movement, an ideology spread through social media. Now that we've arrested the most visible leader, others are going underground. We need someone on the inside, I said slowly. Someone these women trust. She smiled grimly. Agent Torres told me you forwarded 8 messages from mothers asking for help. 8 women who see you as safe. You want me to talk to them? I want you to be their path out. We can't arrest our way out. These women were taught by other women who were taught by their mothers. It's generational trauma. Some genuinely don't understand its abuse. They think they're saving their children's souls. Derek spoke up. What about the ones who do understand? The ones like Vanessa? Those ones go to prison, Brennan said flatly. But for the others, who can be reached, who want to stop, we need intervention, not incarceration. That's where you come in. She pulled out a list. These 8 women. Call them. Tell them you're developing a program for mothers who want to break the cycle. Confidential. No prosecution if they cooperate. Focused on protecting children, not punishing parents who genuinely want to change. I looked at the names with notes. 3 daughters, ages 4 to 9, all with shaved heads. Son with burn marks. Twin girls, severe trauma, nonverbal. And if they refuse? Agents monitoring every call. Anyone who refuses gets investigated. Anyone who contacts the network to warn others gets charged with obstruction. But I'm hoping some are desperate for a way out. She slid a burner phone across. Start making calls. You have 35 years of talking to frightened parents. Use that experience now. The first call was Rachel Martinez in Texas. Hello? Raw from crying. Rachel? Margaret Sullivan. You sent me a message. Silence. You're the grandmother. They're saying you destroyed a family. They're lying. I saved a child being tortured. There's a difference. I don't want to hurt my daughter anymore. But I don't know how to stop. My mother did this to me. Her mother to her. It's all I know. Everyone in my church says I'm doing right. That modern psychology is evil. How do I know they're wrong? Rachel, when you cut your daughter's hair as punishment, how does she look at you? A sob. She looks terrified. And how does that make you feel? Like a monster. Then you already know they're wrong. Love doesn't create terror. Love creates safety. If your daughter is afraid of you, that's not discipline. That's abuse. But everyone says, I don't care what everyone says. I care what your daughter feels. Right now, she feels unsafe in her own home, with her own mother. Is that what you want? No. I want her to love me. I want her to feel safe. But I don't know how. If I don't discipline her, she'll become spoiled and rebellious. Says who? Says your mother who hurt you? Says a church that values obedience over emotional health? Rachel, your daughter is 6 years old. She's not capable of sin. She's barely capable of understanding cause and effect. She needs patience and guidance, not humiliation and pain. But the Bible says love is patient and kind, that we should treat others as we want to be treated. Is cutting your daughter's hair patient? Is terrifying her kind? Would you want to be treated that way? Long silence. What do I do? How do I fix this? For 45 minutes, I walked Rachel Martinez through breaking a generational curse. By day's end, I'd made all 8 calls. 3 agreed to enter therapy. 2 were defensive but willing to consider help. 1 hung up. And 1, Diana Peters in Oregon, said something that made my blood run cold. You don't understand. Vanessa's not the leader. She's just the public face. The real leader is someone you haven't found yet, and she's not going to let this movement die. Who? I demanded. Give me a name. I can't. She'll kill me. She's killed before. Made it look like accidents. 2 women who tried to leave. Car crashes. You think that's coincidence? Derek had been listening on speaker, face sheet white. Diana, I need you to tell the FBI everything, right now. If I do. If you don't, more children die, more mothers get arrested, more families destroyed, and whoever this woman is, she gets away with it. Is that what you want? Another pause. Her name is Miriam Caldwell. She runs a compound in Montana, the Righteous Way Retreat Center. That's where the hardcore training happens, where mothers learn the most extreme techniques. Vanessa went there last year, came back different. Harder. I looked at Derek. Agent Torres, I think we just found the head of the snake. Have you ever had to choose between family peace and a child's safety? What did you do? Real recognize real. The Montana compound raid happened on a Wednesday. 8 days since Christmas. 8 days since I'd found Lily hiding in that bathroom. Agent Torres called at 6 a.m. We're moving on the compound in 2 hours. Thought you'd want to know. How many children? Thermal imaging shows 23. Ages 3 to 14. All girls. After she hung up, I sat drinking coffee, thinking about the strange path from retired principal to center of a federal investigation. Derek arrived at 7 with Lily's favorite donuts. He'd been coming every morning, spending an hour before school. Big day, he said quietly. Custody hearing at 2. Are you ready? No, but I'm doing it anyway. At 9, my phone exploded. The compound raid was all over every network. Aerial footage showed FBI leading children out, identical plain dresses, uniformly short hair or shaved heads. Miriam Caldwell was brought out in handcuffs. Gray-haired, long dress, face serene like she was being martyred. She spoke to reporters. You can arrest me, but you cannot arrest God's truth. There are thousands of us, tens of thousands. We are mothers who refuse to let our children be destroyed by modern weakness. This is not over. Ice water through my veins. She was right. Arresting her wouldn't stop the ideology. That would take something else. By noon, I was in a television studio for my first major interview. Judge Brennan had encouraged me to control the narrative. Sarah Chen got straight to the point. Ms. Sullivan, people are calling you both hero and kidnapper. What would you call yourself? I'm a grandmother who saw her granddaughter being tortured and decided to do something about it. That just makes me human. Vanessa's supporters cite biblical passages. What do you say? I looked directly into camera. I say that any interpretation of Scripture requiring you to terrorize a 6-year-old is an interpretation that's gone very wrong. If your God demands you shave your daughter's head as punishment for spilling juice, you might want to reconsider what you think God is. Strong words, honest words. I was a principal for 35 years. I've seen real biblical discipline. It involves patience, teaching, natural consequences. What Vanessa did was systematic psychological torture designed to break a child's will. Any mother who thinks that's godly needs to take a long look at what they're really worshiping, because it's not love. You've been appointed to help draft Lily's law. Can you explain? Lily's law would require mandatory reporting of patterns of systematic humiliation, even without physical injury. Teachers, doctors, clergy would be trained to recognize escalating psychological abuse. Right now, you can call CPS about a bruise, but not about a child whose mother publicly humiliated them weekly as correction. That needs to change. Critics say this would criminalize strict parenting. Critics are wrong. Strict parenting involves boundaries and consequences. Abuse involves humiliation and terror. If you can't tell the difference, you shouldn't be parenting. As I left, my phone rang. Unknown number. Ms. Sullivan, this is Miriam Caldwell. I'm allowed one phone call and I chose you. I stopped. Derek saw my face and came to my side. Why would you call me? Miriam's voice was calm, almost kind. Because you're intelligent. Because you understand what we're doing is necessary. Look at the world. Children with no respect, no discipline, no moral foundation. We're trying to save them. By terrorizing them? By teaching them that actions have consequences, that rebellion leads to suffering, that their parents can't be trusted, that love is conditional on perfect obedience, that their worth is tied to submission. I cut her off. Miriam, I've seen what you've created. Daughters who flinch when their mothers move, children who apologize for breathing, traumatized little girls who think they're inherently broken. Temporary pain for eternal salvation. There is no salvation in child abuse, only trauma that lasts a lifetime. You'll see. When those 23 girls are returned to their mothers, because they will be, they'll go back to training. When Vanessa is released, and she will be, she'll rebuild what you destroyed. And when your granddaughter grows up rebellious and broken because you coddled her, you'll wish you'd let her mother finish the work. Vanessa is never getting near Lily again. We'll see. Enjoy your moment. But remember, we are legion. For every one you arrest, there are 100 more. Mothers who love their children enough to be hated by people like you. The line went dead. Derek steadied me. What if she's right? What if there really are hundreds more? At 2:00, we walked into the custody hearing. Vanessa sat at the defendant's table with 3 lawyers. She looked smaller, thinner, paler, diminished. But when she saw us, her eyes flashed with rage. The hearing took 4 hours. Vanessa's lawyers argued parental rights, religious freedom, cultural differences. They presented character witnesses, church members swearing Vanessa was devoted, photos of Lily smiling at family events. Dr. Patricia Chen destroyed their case in 15 minutes. She presented her evaluation with video of Lily describing abuse. She explained the difference between a child who smiles in photos and a child who's safe. She walked the judge through the systematic pattern. Your Honor, this child exhibited signs of complex trauma that typically take years to develop. Hypervigilance, learned helplessness, dissociative responses. These are not symptoms of strict parenting. These are symptoms of captivity. Derek testified next, voice breaking as he described what he'd witnessed, recorded, failed to stop. I love my wife, he said, and Vanessa's face lit up with hope. But I love my daughter more. And I failed her by prioritizing my marriage over her safety. I won't make that mistake again. Then, my turn. I described Christmas morning, the shaved head, the cuts, the terror, the Santa hat hiding damage, the whispered confession about God's discipline. Ms. Sullivan, in 35 years as principal, how would you rank this case in severity? Top 3. And I've reported everything from neglect to sexual abuse to kids living in cars. This systematic breaking of a child's spirit is among the worst because it's intentional, calculated, and justified through religious manipulation. Vanessa's attorney stood for cross-examination, Richard Pierce, who'd defended multiple mothers from the network. Ms. Sullivan, isn't it true you've always had a contentious relationship with your daughter-in-law? No, I barely knew her before this. But you disapproved of her parenting? I disapproved of child abuse. There's a difference. You described religious manipulation. Are you anti-religious? I'm anti-child abuse. If someone uses religion to justify torturing children, then yes, I oppose that interpretation. Isn't it possible you simply don't understand modern biblical discipline? I looked at him. Mr. Pierce, I understand child abuse. I've been reporting it for 35 years. I've seen every justification, cultural, religious, educational. They're all the same. Adults hurting children and finding reasons to call it something else. What Vanessa did wasn't discipline. It was torture. No amount of biblical citation changes that fact. Judge Brennan's gavel came down. I've heard enough. I'm ready to rule. The courtroom went silent. Ms. Vanessa Sullivan, I have reviewed all evidence, watched the videos, listened to recordings, read your blog posts where you documented in detail systematic abuse of your daughter. Vanessa sat up straighter, like she might still win. You shaved your 6-year-old daughter's head as punishment for spilling juice, called her ugly, threatened to cut her eyelashes, kept her kneeling on raw rice until her knees bled, forced her to stand in front of your church to confess rebellion for normal childhood behavior. And you documented all of this online, teaching other mothers to do the same. Brennan leaned forward. You are not a mother exercising discipline. You are a child abuser who weaponized religion to justify torture. And I will not let you near that child ever again. Your Honor, Vanessa's lawyer started. I'm not finished. Full custody to Derek Sullivan, with Margaret Sullivan designated primary caregiver. Vanessa Sullivan's parental rights are terminated. Permanently. Prohibited from any contact. No calls, no letters, no supervised visits. Nothing. Vanessa screamed. Actually screamed. Pure rage and disbelief. You can't do this. She's my daughter. I have rights. You had rights. You forfeited them when you tortured your child. Bailiff, remove Miss Sullivan. As they dragged Vanessa away, still screaming about rights and religious freedom and how we'd all burn in hell, I felt something I hadn't felt in 8 days. Relief. But as we left, a reporter thrust a microphone in my face. Vanessa's lawyers just announced they're appealing. They say they have new evidence proving you manipulated Lily's testimony. Any comment? 6 months later, I stood in the state capitol watching Governor Matthews sign Lily's law. The appeal had been denied. Vanessa was in prison. 6 counts of child endangerment, 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of witness intimidation. Miriam Caldwell faced federal charges that would keep her locked up for life. The Montana compound was shut down. 23 girls placed with family members who'd completed family therapy. 3 families were thriving. Others still struggling, but at least the children were safe. The Facebook group was dismantled. The blog was offline. 12 mothers arrested. 15 more entered intervention programs, working with therapists to break generational trauma cycles. And Lily stood next to me, wearing a pretty blue dress and huge smile. Her hair had grown back into soft blonde curls brushing her shoulders. She looked like a different child. She looked happy. Grandma, she whispered, tugging my hand. Is that the governor? Yes, sweetheart. And he's signing the law that has my name? He is. Quiet moment, processing. Will this help other kids? Yes. It will help a lot of other kids. Good. I don't want anyone else to be scared like I was. Governor Matthews finished signing and turned to cameras. Lily's law represents a fundamental shift in how we identify and respond to child abuse. Thanks to the courage of one grandmother and the bravery of one little girl, we now have tools to protect children from systematic psychological abuse before it escalates. He looked at me. Ms. Sullivan, would you like to say a few words? I approached the podium with Lily still holding my hand. 6 months ago, I found my granddaughter hiding in a bathroom, ashamed of her shaved head, convinced she was ugly and unworthy of love. I found a child who'd been systematically traumatized by the person who was supposed to protect her most. Lily's hand tightened in mine. Today, that child is thriving. She's in therapy. She's making friends. She's learning that adults can be trusted, that mistakes don't require punishment, that love is unconditional. But the work isn't finished. For every Lily we save, there are dozens more we haven't reached. I looked at the cameras. If you're a mother watching this who recognizes yourself in Vanessa's story, if you've used humiliation as discipline, if you've justified cruelty through religion, if you've told yourself that breaking your child's spirit is necessary, please hear me. There is another way. There is help available. Breaking the cycle doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're brave enough to be better than the people who hurt you. I paused. And if you're a grandmother, an aunt, a teacher, a neighbor, if you see a child being hurt and you're afraid to speak up because it's not your business, it is your business. Children don't belong to their parents. They belong to themselves, and every adult has a responsibility to protect them. After the ceremony, Derek drove us back to my house. He'd filed for divorce 3 months ago, finalized last week. He'd sold the Colonial, too many bad memories, and bought a small house 2 streets over. We sat on the porch watching Lily play on the swing set I'd installed last month. She asked about Vanessa yesterday, Derek said quietly. First time in 2 months. What did she ask? If Mommy was ever going to be nice again. What did you tell her? The truth, that Mommy is sick, that she might get better someday with lots of help. But that even if she does, Lily gets to decide if she ever wants to see her, that her feelings are valid no matter what. We watched Lily swing higher, her laughter carrying on spring breeze. You did good, Derek. I waited too long. You acted when it mattered. That's what counts. 2 weeks later, I got a letter. Montana postmark. Dear Ms. Sullivan, my name is Emily. I was one of the mothers at the compound. My daughter Sarah is 7. For 3 years, I believed I was saving her soul by breaking her will. Your interview made me realize I was destroying her. Sarah and I are in therapy now. It's hard. She doesn't trust me yet. Sometimes she flinches when I move too fast. But yesterday, for the first time since I can remember, she hugged me without being told to. I'm writing to say thank you, and to ask if you're still taking calls from mothers who need help. Because my sister, she's still doing what I was doing, and I don't know how to reach her. But maybe you could. Thank you for being brave enough to speak truth, even when it was hard. Emily, I forwarded the letter to the intervention program. Then I called Emily's number. By the time we finished talking 2 hours later, her sister had agreed to enter therapy. That night, Lily had her first nightmare-free sleep in 6 months, and I sat in my kitchen drinking tea, thinking about the strange, painful, necessary work of breaking generational curses. My phone buzzed. My daughter told me she loves me today, first time in a year. Thank you. Another. I cut my daughter's hair as punishment yesterday. Then I called Dr. Chen. I start therapy Monday. I'm sorry I waited so long. And then Derek. Lily just asked if she could invite friends over for her birthday party next month. She hasn't wanted to see other kids since Christmas. Mom, I think she's going to be okay. I thought about Miriam Caldwell's words. We are legion. For every one of us you arrest, there are 100 more. She was right, but she was also wrong. Because for every mother who chose abuse, there was another who chose healing. For every Vanessa who justified cruelty, there was an Emily who found courage to change. For every Miriam who built networks of harm, there were grandmothers and fathers and teachers and social workers building networks of protection. 3 weeks after Lily's 7th birthday party, attended by 12 friends, all leaving with smiles and goodie bags, I received an official notification. The State Child Welfare Board wanted to make my position permanent. I was sitting at my kitchen table when I read it, with Lily coloring beside me. Her latest artwork was taped to my refrigerator. A picture of her and me holding hands, both smiling, her hair long and blonde and beautiful. "Grandma, can I ask you something?" "Always, sweetheart." "Do you think Mommy will ever say sorry?" I considered carefully. "I don't know, my love. Maybe someday. But here's what I do know. Whether she says sorry or not doesn't change that what she did was wrong. And it doesn't change that you deserved better. You always deserved better." Lily nodded, then went back to coloring. A moment later, "Grandma? Yes? I'm glad I live with you." Tears pricked my eyes. "I'm glad too, sweetheart." She finished her picture, 2 figures labeled "Me and Grandma" with a big house and sun and flowers, and held it up proudly. "Can we put this one on the refrigerator too?" "Absolutely." As I taped it up, my phone buzzed with email from Judge Brennan. "Margaret, FBI just arrested the 47th mother from Vanessa's network. That's all of them. Every single child in that Facebook group is now safe. More importantly, we've identified 127 additional children through the blog subscriber list who were at risk. Intervention protocols have been initiated for all of them. You asked me once if this work would ever be finished. The answer is no. But thanks to you, we're winning. One family at a time." Sarah. That evening, as I tucked Lily into bed, she asked one more question. "Grandma? When I grow up, can I help other kids like you helped me?" "Yes, my love. When you grow up, you can help anyone you want." "Good. Because I don't want anyone else to be scared of their mommy." She fell asleep holding my hand, her breathing deep and peaceful, her hair spread across the pillow like spun gold. I stayed there for a long time, watching her sleep, thinking about all the children we'd saved and all the ones still out there, waiting for someone brave enough to see their suffering and act. Miriam had been right about one thing. This work would never be finished. But she'd been wrong about everything else. Because love, real love, the kind that protects instead of controls, was stronger than any ideology, stronger than any network of abusers, stronger than generations of trauma. And as long as there were grandmothers willing to look evil in the eye and say, "Not my child," there was hope. Tell me, what's the hardest lesson you learned about protecting children, even from family? Your inner wisdom matters. Share your story below. Thank you for being here with us.